What's up guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel, and it's another preview this time for the Sunday game against Palace. And go through as I normally do, talk about the team, what I think it's going to be, talk about Sarri's press conference today, and then obviously the game that's just happened, go through what I think the Palace team might be, where we should exploit, where we should be watch out for, Zaha, and stuff like that. And we'll see kind of where we go, have a little chat. So yeah, start off with the game of the weekend, or midweek, I should say. Derby. You wouldn't have seen it, obviously, because it's not on my channel, but my overall comments of the game sort of were it was the most sort of depressing game I'd ever seen. In terms of, obviously, I've seen sort of other comments in response to that, on stuff like the fan cam I did with Louis and 100% Chelsea, saying stuff like, what about the loss to Bournemouth last season or the loss to Watford? Yeah, those were bad, but that was against, so for like the Watford game, that was a team who just got their best player back, have got a new manager, they're feeling up for it, they're hungry, they want to fight. So with Bournemouth, I think at that point, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they want a bit of a run at that point. They were high on sort of morale, the spirits in the camp were good. Whereas the game against Derby, I said in the other video that they'd only won 1 in 5 before they played us. Their other 4 were draws. And yeah, they're 5th, and yeah, they're having a good season, but they're Derby. No offence to them, but they're a championship level side. With the players we had, we should have done a lot better. But anyway, that was that game. Sort of going on from that game to focus on this game, I see it being sort of completely different. I think that there are going to be quite a few changes. For me, I personally think the team is going to go back to what it was to Burnley. I can see it being pretty much the exact same team. Sarri talks in his press conference today that Hazard's fitness is not quite where it needs to be. He said he can play about 40-45 minutes, but not the full 90. So for me, with it being a home game, with it being against, again, no offence to Palace, but not the best of teams. They're a good team, but they're not like that top 6 or top quality team that you think, yeah, you need to risk your big players for, at least not for me. So I think I can see him playing the exact same team we did against Burnley with Willian and Pedro on the wings. And then bringing Hazard on later, probably either at half-time or about 60 minutes in, just to give him a run-out, give him some game time. Apart from that, he also mentioned Barkley and Loftus-Cheek. He's liking where Barkley's going. He's thinking that he's really impressed by his physicality, his form, his tactical knowledge. He's really impressed with that, and so I think it speaks volumes for where Barkley's come from last season, where he was basically just, he didn't factor into the team at all. When he did, he was poor. He was almost forgotten about. To now, he's probably, I'd say, along with the likes of, say, Kante and Hazard when he's fit, he's up there with the players that are getting on the team sheet straight away. And then he also talks about Loftus-Cheek and that he's not, while he's there in terms of his form's been good and he's been on it in terms of physicality, tactically he's not quite there. He's not quite where he wants in terms of how they play. And so I think sort of for that reason, I think he's going to try to ease him in a bit more. Obviously, he did well against Barte. He did pretty well against Burnley, and he didn't have the worst of games against Derby. But I think now's the time, particularly with Hazard coming back, with Pedro. Obviously, he got injured against Burnley, but with him kind of getting his fitness back a little bit, I can certainly see Loftus-Cheek maybe not featuring as much, but sort of being eased into it a bit more. Apart from that, as I said, I can certainly see the team going back to as it was Burnley. So it's as you were pretty much with everyone, apart from obviously Barkley in midfield instead of Kovacic. The only other thing I would say is I think Giroud will start up front instead of Morata, because Morata played the whole game against Derby, and so I can see Sarri giving him a rest. Giroud didn't play, didn't feature at all. Only really played, I think it was 20 minutes or so. 15 minutes against Burnley, so he hasn't really had a lot of game time in the past week or so, so I think he'll come into the team. But apart from that, as I said, I think it's just pretty standard. It's been mentioned before, Sarri doesn't really like to alter it unless he has to, so I think it's just kind of as you are by the numbers sort of thing. In terms of the Palace, where to watch out for, there's only really one player, isn't it? It's Wilfried Zaha. I've seen sort of, from what we're talking to people, talking to the likes of Lewis, Jack, other Chelsea fans and whatnot in and around the games, Zaha's a player that would be welcomed at Chelsea. At least that's the impression I'm getting. And you can see why. Someone put out a stat today, someone I put out a stat today that Crystal Palace haven't won a game without Zaha since September 2016. And that speaks volumes. That speaks to how much he improves the team, how much they need him in that team. He drives that team forward. He boosts everyone up just with the way he plays, with his presence on the ball, with just everything. And it really drags that team up. You saw it last season when they had that terrible run. He comes back into the team against us, and all of a sudden they get their first points of the season, they get their first goals. And so I think he's obviously the main player to watch out for. But apart from that, I'd say Van Aanholt's particularly going forward, he's very much similar to an Alonso type player. He's very good going forward. Defensively, not quite as much, but can do a job there. But certainly going forward, he's very good. His link-up play with the likes of Loftus-Cheek and Zaha last season was very good. And so he's another one bombing down that left-hand side. I think Azpilicueta and probably, I'd say, Pedro on that right-hand side. Certainly have to be careful, make sure they're tracking him. Apart from that, though, they haven't really got any sort of standout players. They've got a good squad, but apart from those two, they haven't really got anyone to stand out. In terms of where to hurt them, I don't really... It would probably be the left-hand side, because who's their right back? They play...
Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Never mind. I'm going to shut up. Never mind.
Do you want to know a fun fact about Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
Go on then, Louis. What's some fun facts?
45 tackles this season.
Yep.
Only failed 3. He's the best tackler in Europe.
They shot me down. I'm going to shut up. Never mind.
I wasn't listening, just thought I'd hop in there.
Of course.
So you're lucky.
That's thrown me a bit. I don't know then. Because if Sakho's fit, and for me, Sakho as a centre-back is massively underrated. Yeah, he has weird quirks, but so does everyone. So does Phil Jones, for example. So does... Louis, give me another centre-back who's got weird quirks when they play. They look a bit gangly, not really with it.
I don't know.
That doesn't help.
No idea.
Oh, brilliant.
David Luiz.
David Luiz, there's another one. Yeah, he's a bit rash, but he's still a good centre-back for me. His reading of the game sometimes, he didn't sit too much at Liverpool because he didn't really get a chance, but certainly the first season he went to Palace when he went on loan, his reading of the game was very good for them, and you could see that they were better with him in the side. So if he plays, I don't really know where to hurt them, to be honest. Maybe on the counter-attack if either Wan-Bissaka or Van Aanholt bomb forwards. Apart from that, though, I don't really know. Because Palace, certainly with Hodgson as manager, they're a very compact team, they're a very tight team. So yeah, that's an odd one. That's suddenly made me a little less confident. I'm still relatively confident for the game, obviously, because I don't have to be, but I want to be, because it's Chelsea, it's my team. You want to be confident, you don't want to be pessimistic all the time, think, oh, we're going to get battered, oh, we're going to lose, we're going to play poorly. Because that just it's not a good atmosphere, it's not a good vibe to give. But yeah, I certainly feel like we can win this game. Definitely. I feel being at home, crowd on our side, on the team side, with the players we've got. I know you could have said the same thing about Derby, but it's a whole different scenario, different players coming in. So I think we got enough. I'm gonna say 2-1, because I certainly think Palace have got goals in them, particularly with Zaha playing, particularly with the way they attack. They've definitely got goals in them, but I think we got enough to kind of push forward and win. So I think 2-1's kind of a decent score to predict. It's not too overconfident, not negative. Nice in the middle. But yeah, that's about it. I haven't really got too much else to say. Like and subscribe, hit the little bell notification button as well. As usual, socials down in the description. Let me know what you think, score predictions, team, any other comments on the game itself down in the comment section. And I'll see you next time. Peace.